A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you back to yet another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. The dear Goon once again zooming in. How are we doing today, Goon?
Can't complain, Jeffrey. Can't complain. I'm here, right?
I think you could complain actually, but we appreciate the valiant effort to join us. Of course, I am at Quaker Steak and Lube, our home away from home. Great place to come on down and watch. We have NFL preseason action this weekend. I've been checking out some of the Little League action. Always fun as we next week we'll get underway with the Little League World Series in South Williamsport. And looking forward to that. I think actually, have you ever been, Goon? I forget if we've talked about this. Have you ever been to
We talk about it every year. It's one of those things that I'm embarrassed that I've never done.
Yeah, and nor have I. I thought we were on the same page. So I am rectifying my situation this year. I still don't know exactly when, but at some point over the next couple of weeks, the Mad Turtle and I are going to get down there. He is just finished up. Actually, last night had his last game of the summer league for his Little League experience this year, and he wants to get down there and check it out. And I'm like, oh, I have always wanted to and never have, so we're just going to make it happen. We're going to pick a day and just go down and take it all in. And I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be. I have a few friends that went last year, and actually each of the last 2 years I've had some different friends that have gone, and everybody says just a great experience. It's what you think it'll be, it's what you hope it'll be, and so we're gonna take it in at some point here over the next couple of weeks and look forward to that. But you can watch the Little League action going on down here, of course, Major League Baseball, for fans that have teams that are actually interested in competing. This will be a fun stretch run for Major League Baseball, and we can talk about all of that, but you can come down and watch the action here at Quaker Steak and Lube while you enjoy some great food and great beverage and to get provided the best service you will find in our area. I was debating exactly where to start because there's just so many things in the hopper here, Goon, and we've talked about the excitement surrounding the upcoming sports year for Penn State across the board, obviously starting with football. But I think, a couple of things that came down the pike yesterday. Penn State women's volleyball ranked second in the preseason coaches poll behind only Nebraska. And certainly expectations, again, are very high for the Penn State women's volleyball program. Probably 5 or 6 schools, maybe even more than that, but I would say at least 5 or 6 schools go into the season thinking, if things break right, we could be the national champion here in the upcoming season. Certainly Penn State is one of the teams that should be very much in the thick of things on that front. And then I'm not sure. I thought this was widely known, and I'm not sure now. I think it was pretty widely known, at least in the Penn State community, that the Big Ten Wrestling Championships are going to be at Penn State in the upcoming season. But the Big Ten released all of the locations and the venues for the Big Ten championships across the board in the upcoming year.
Yeah, Jeff, you said that was it not known? Because I thought I remember hearing it, but then
I think we talked about it. I think actually we talked about it coming off of the NCAAs. So I don't know if it's just an official reconfirmation or whatever. Again, they released all of the. I don't know if they were all known previously. Like if you were in a certain sport, we already knew the tennis championships were going to be here, or the softball championships, or whatever the case may be. Are
the Olympic trials here too?
No, but the Jordan Center will be hosting the Big Ten championships. And it's a big deal. The reason for this, if you're wondering, it's like, well, geez, I thought it rotated through all of the schools. It does, but and it is a big but. Penn State, when it hosted in 2021, fans were not allowed in. So it was just a strange time, obviously, a lot of different ways, but it was a strange event. And even stranger was the NCAA championships that year out in St. Louis. But, there were some folks there. I forget exactly now the rules. I know parents were allowed in. I think it was up to maybe 4 family members, and I'm not sure if each wrestler got 4 tickets. I'm forgetting the details on it, but it was very sparse anyway, the crowd. And so this will be so that's why Penn State went back into the rotation much more quickly than it obviously normally would. Is, hey, you have one of the great passionate fan bases, and you hosted it, and you weren't allowed to let that fan base in to enjoy the event. And we heard some different things being kicked around at the time as to how quickly that was going to happen. But next year is now when Penn State will get that second shot, if you will, at hosting the Big Ten championships. Penn State will be going for a 4th straight conference title, and of course, Penn State will also be looking for a 5th straight NCAA championship in the upcoming season. But I think I was just reading, women's soccer added another their final roster piece last week, and I just think overall, fueled by football, and certainly the closer we get, Goon, and the more we're hearing about the receivers, both the youngsters and the 3 transfers in, again, it needs to be shown on the field. And I think, truthfully, at this time last year, I felt pretty good about the receiving core Penn State had and thought it would be a pretty productive group. So, as always, you got to wait and see how it actually plays out. I do think this group will be productive. I don't know if it's going to be one of the top, 5-10 receiving cores in the country or not, but I think it's going to be good enough to serve what Penn State needs it to be to get to where Penn State wants to be in the upcoming season.
Yeah, you look at last year. I mean, yes, you could say it was a down year for the wide receiving cores, and the way the last game ended was a horrendous debacle. But you take Tyler Warren out of that equation, you're going to rely more on wide receivers. You had the greatest tight end in school history, possibly. That's the best one in the country last year for sure, playing tight end, and is a dynamic guy. So, yeah, the wide receivers got stopped a little bit, and they got put in the background a little bit because they had to exploit Warren. So, I mean, if they didn't have Warren, I expected more from them last year. You know what I mean? I guess it was just like he was just such an anomaly and so good at what he did that he took a lot of their spark away.
Yeah, for sure. And, I was listening to a discussion the other day, and it was interesting as far as it goes on how much the contention, it wasn't a strong contention. I think it was just in part just to play devil's advocate for the sake of playing devil's advocate. But it was like, well, are we sure it was all the receivers and not Drew Aller? The thing is, when you look at Drew Aller's numbers were more than solid last year. And if you have a Tyler Warren and that is working for you, I don't know that you blame a quarterback. Hey, why do you keep going to this guy? Well, because it keeps working and we keep having success with it. And, it wasn't like he wasn't targeting the receivers. And, generally speaking, it was folks that actually sit down and break down the films, guys like Landon Tengwall will tell you that, the receivers just were not getting the separation that you would expect. a receiving core to get to create some space and some openings for themselves, and Tyler Warren was. And so, I mean, to me, it's as simple as that. And again, I think with Drew Aller at the helm, with Andy Kotelnicki putting things together, and then with kind of the infusion of new pieces, and I listen, it's going to take a little while, I think, to completely get on the same page. I know, obviously, they've been working at it for a while, but I don't think it's going to come. I don't think they're going to start the season and everything's just going to look like a completely well-oiled machine. But I do think when you look at the numbers that and now I'm talking about the transfers in particular, although again, I think there's reason to believe that Penn State will have 5 I'm going to say significantly contributing receivers in the upcoming season. But just staying with the 3 transfers for a moment, as James Franklin has talked about, all 3 were productive at their previous schools. Now, in different ways, and they certainly bring some different styles with them, which I think is also an advantage for Penn State. But I think I just think that Penn State is going to know how to put these guys in the best position to have success. And I think Drew Aller now, with the experience he has, understands what he's looking for from this group, and I think is assertive enough now at this stage of his career that, hey, we need you to step up. We need you to run this route more precisely. And I'm not saying these guys need that type of help. I'm just saying if there's something he's seen, then it's like, oh man, we got to do that better. I think Drew's at a point now, and these guys are all veterans. They're not going to be, I got to go get down on myself. Like I think these guys can be frank with each other, and I think this is going to go better than many are anticipating. That part of the offense in particular, I think most people are anticipating the offense will be pretty good, but I think this receiving core, I think the numbers will be more than solid as the season progresses.
I think Drew, he knows that he needs to get them involved, and I think that Kotelnicki will try to do that earlier in the year. Get those guys, because that is the big worry in the room. Everybody feels if the defense is okay, the offense is okay, the special teams are okay, but the glaring weakness is wide receivers. So, what's the best thing the defense is going to do is get those guys going those first 3 or 4 games to have them rocking and rolling. Making some plays, and it's not going to be for a lack of. Aller is going to be throwing the ball around. Our offensive line is going to be blocking. Our wide receivers are going to be going at making catches. Our running game. So I would try to hit the ground running. I mean, you and I say, what do you want to show the first 3 games? What do you not want to show? What do you want to do? What do you not want to do? I don't know. I mean, I could be that guy and say, you know what, let's keep it low key, just run the ball and punish these guys and this and that. Or I open it up like Kotelnicki wants to do, I'm sure. Throw the ball around, run the ball around, get everybody involved, get Oregon's head flipping out, trying to figure out where the hell's our offense, who do they need to stop type of thing. Again, is this, I believe it is. I know that you and I have been we use the word bullish the last few years. But, I mean, this is now I'm I can't wait for this to start because of how good they're going to be. Before we were okay, we know these guys are good. We like this team. This team is really good, really freaking good. So, keep them on track throughout the year. So interested to see what they can do. It's the whole year. I mean, people are calling me what game can I come up for? I'm well, you better make an announcement soon because these things are filling up with people. I mean, everybody wants to come to these games. I mean, they are a hot ticket right now, and I can't wait for these guys to get rolling. And I know they can't either. I mean, I ain't been outside too much, but I can watch outside, and I hated these days of the year for as the big boys. You wake up and you just smell it outside. It's 103 degrees. And you're oh, God. But I don't know, man. I'm so jacked up for this team and this season coming up, really big time. And then, it goes beyond football too, because we talked about how like everything is going to be rolling pretty well in this fall, going into the winter, going into the spring. So it's exciting times around here. It really, really, really is. I mean, exciting as I remember. What about you?
Yeah. Oh, overall for the athletic year, without a doubt. And again, it's a combination. One of the topics that I was kicking around, and I didn't really get it together for today, but maybe we'll do this next week. But I was just kind of thinking to myself, everybody likes to do the top 5 lists or top 10 lists and all of this. And I thought maybe a different way to kind of go about that, because initially I was kind of thinking, all right, who are you, who or what are you most excited to see in the upcoming Penn State sports year? And obviously, if the football team can win the national championship, I think would be at the top of the list. But I was thinking kind of more individually. And the way I would, like, if we handicapped, who do you think, like, maybe give me the top 3 in the order you think it could finish for the Penn State Male Athlete of the Year. And Penn State does, they recognize a male athlete and a female athlete of the year. Yep. When you start, Gavin McKenna obviously is going to have a ton of expectations going into the upcoming season. Mitchell Messenbrake is probably the early odds-on favorite for the Hodge Trophy, which is college wrestling's version of the Heisman Trophy. Drew Aller and Nicholas Singleton head up a large number of Penn State football players who are getting preseason recognition as guys to watch for all kinds of postseason awards. And you go through, like, there's a lot of individuals that I think people are excited to see to go with. Hey, how many national championships can Penn State win, or how many Final Four, top 4 or 5 finishes can Penn State teams achieve? But you start looking at, between women's volleyball, women's hockey, which has a couple of superstars on it. You go to softball, and if they get everybody back healthy, like that, women's soccer, obviously, we may delve into that a little bit next week as far as just kind of the individuals who are going to bring folks to the stands to go with the fact that, a lot of these teams are expected to be at least in the mix, contending for championships at both the conference and national level throughout the upcoming season. And it is exciting. But so to answer your question in as long-winded a way as I can, I think there's a different type of excitement and anticipation than there's been. But I think it's that combination. I think folks are excited because, I think the hockey team could win its first national championship. I think the football team could, have an undefeated season, could win its first national championship in decades. I think the wrestling team could have a 3rd straight record-setting performance at the NCAA tournament. I think women's soccer and women's volleyball could win national titles again in the upcoming season. And you start going through that. But then it's like, also, we have a once in a generation opportunity to see a guy like Gavin McKenna. We have a very unique opportunity to see a Drew Aller and Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen, and you start going through the whole list of guys that you could be excited about to see on the gridiron. And then even like the basketball program, I think is going to be exciting, not because you think it's going to contend for the national title in the upcoming season, but man, how much of an impact can this recruiting class that is so highly touted, how much of an immediate impact can they have, and what kind of projection do you start to see as their season unfolds. And probably same thing with the women's basketball program, and again, right on down the line. But I think it's the combination of teams and individuals where you're like, oh, this is pretty cool that we have a chance to see that individual talent with these team possibilities.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, are Aller and Singleton, are they going to fall into the Kerry Collins, Kijana Carter split their Heisman vote type of thing, which is a thing that's definitely a thing. So, but I did want to say this before I forget about it, but hockey, the Big Ten did announce today that they changed their hockey playoff system up. It's not going to be 3-game series every week. It'll be 1-game single eliminations at the higher seeds for all 3 rounds. So you know, there's no more like 3-game versus Michigan the first weekend. Everybody gets buys. It's 1 bye, and then the other 6 are going head to head, and the higher seed is the home game. So they're not going to have a final at a certain place or whatever. It's the higher seed place. That's for hockey. But yes, could you imagine? I mean, we're going to go see next year on our hockey facility the number one, he's not Gretzky, Lemieux, or Crosby, but he's in that top 10, 15 list of like those guaranteed, this guy's an absolute freaking star who's going to be the next hockey god, and he's coming to Penn State next year, which is awesome.
It is. And again, there's a different type of excitement around that program because, anytime you're trying to achieve something for the first time, right? It's just there's a little extra something special. We've talked about this over the years with the wrestling program, and it's like each championship that Penn State has won here has been very special, very unique. Obviously, the last 2 special because of the record-setting nature, but there was something just that will always stand out about 2011 because it was such being the first time in my lifetime, obviously second wrestling championship, but the other one was in the 1950s. So for a lot of people, it was the first experience that had followed Penn State wrestling with a national championship experience. And the way that whole thing unfolded and being in Philly, I mean, there's just something special when you are able to achieve something either for the first time or for the first time in a really long time, let's say over 50 years.
The other thing to talk about wrestling one was this is the hotbed of wrestling in this country. To have 1 national title in the 1950s,
yeah. But
you also have to take into account your family, your friends who were, they were Penn State wrestling fans 20, 30 years ago. You have a lot of people like me who are on board now because of how good they are and they watch because they're dominant. But Penn State has always had a great following for wrestling because of where we're at in this country. And then the fact that you just said 1 national title, it was in the 1950s. That's a mind blower right there to see where we're at right now and how fast it turned and changed over. Again, we are in a beautiful, beautiful time as a sports fan in State College.
There is no doubt about that. And, we were talking NIL a little bit on our morning show today, and we've talked about it, Goon, but I do think I think Pat Kraft, I know he gets a lot of credit. I'm not sure. I wonder if we really understand how important what he has done in changing the landscape at Penn State. And I think we've talked about this a little bit on the show before, but, Penn State coming out of the gate was clearly lagging in the NIL department. And Penn State was not competitive for a short period.
Let's just stop right there. Let's think about this from the start, though. Penn State really never touted their super financially secure, rich alumni type of thing. We were always that laid back culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think we were ripe for that NIL type of stuff as a fan base.
Yeah, maybe not. But what Pat Kraft has done in changing that whole the paradigm surrounding NIL with with Penn State in the national picture, and again, it's not that you need to be necessarily the top program in terms of revenue opportunities, but you've got to be competitive. And I think so Penn State is competitive there. But then the other thing I think they have done a really good job of is getting in front of the social media and just the media in general, the pushing out, hey, this is a special place. There are special opportunities here. We have a really unique group of coaches. It is a really great setting for college sports here in this part of central Pennsylvania, and promoting all of the things. So it was kind of twofold. It wasn't like, hey, we just got to figure out a way to get more money available to the student athletes. Yes, that needed to happen. That was part of the equation. But I think that the other part was we've got to tout everything that we have going on and the way we develop student athletes, both athletically and certainly if you look at across the board, lacrosse, hockey, football, wrestling, no question that Penn State gets talented kids and develops them, takes advantage of that talent, develops them so that they're ready for the next level in whatever the sport is. But also recognizing that the majority of the student athletes that will be on those teams are not heading to the next level, whatever the next level is important to know. And so you are also preparing them for the next phase of life, whatever that may be for those individuals. So it's, the personal growth, personal development. And I think Penn State has done a very good job I think historically Penn State has done a good job on those fronts. I think they weren't always the best at promoting what they were doing in that front. I know James Franklin takes a lot of grief from some fans for being, spend less time in front of the television cameras and doing these national interviews. Folks, I'm telling you, if you are of that mindset, then you don't get it. Thankfully, your head coach does. Again, you can not like the culture we're in, the era, and all of that. I'm just telling you, James Franklin being on ESPN or Fox as often as he is and being in the national conversation is crucial. It just is. It's crucial for Penn State football to continue to build on what it has right now. And I think Franklin recognized early on, hey, I do need to be the face of the program. The kids are going to come and go. Yes, the kids are what make the team in a given year, but I've got to be the guy that goes out and sells Penn State. And part of that selling is, hey, you want me on? I'll come talk to you. And part of what I'm going to talk to you about is what a great situation we have here at Penn State. And I think he has done a great job of that, and across the board. I think you can say that for the coaches. And it is part of the equation as to why we have the excitement level we do heading into the upcoming sports year.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about with Pat. I mean, me and you talk about it every day and say we wouldn't want his job because how many times have they moved this NIL target in the last 3 years? And then just everything about it, the NIL, the Title IX, the revenue sharing, all of this, and then everything's beginning, the collective versus school paying, non-school paying, the schooling house that has to release everything now. It's some crazy stuff that those two had to go through. But you're right. James managed it from the start as being the face of Penn State. He had to do that because that face is going to change all the time. But if he could be there and talk to recruits and say, hey, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to win big games at Penn State. We're going to play for national titles. What else do you want? And you're going to make money. You know, that's their thing. Is that what kids are asking now? I don't know, Jeff. I would assume that's talked about right off the get. I mean, it's crazy to think about with the revenue sharing, but if Penn State's going to go out there and give, you know, each kid $300,000, I'm sure as hell telling them to recruit that, you know, versus a Temple is going to say, well, we have money for you, but we can't tell you how much, where Penn State can sit there and say, you're going to make $1 million in your 4 or 5 years now. That's impressive. That's a big thing. But again, ever changing. And we are lucky to have Pat in that position right now, in, you know, keeping our, everything going forward for our sports programs and our athletes and stuff like that. And it's been a tough haul to do. And, you know, James has been very good with it. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. James has the best staff in the country right now. Or what did he say? I have the best staff that I've had at Penn State and best players that he's had. So his players and staff, he has already acknowledged that this is as loaded as he has been in his 14 or 12 years here. And that, you know, you're stepping on some, you're getting on some dicey stuff there, Coach Frank, because if stuff goes wrong, they're gonna go right back to point to that. But I feel as if he is secure enough in this team and in this staff and in the way this program's going, that he's making these comments.
Well, we'll take a break here. When we come back, I want to kind of follow up on that in this regard. There's a lot of attention, it seems like, over the last week or so. It's picked up on this on the non-conference schedule. I mean, obviously, we've known for a while what it is, and that it's not. I think it would be fair to say this is not fraught with a lot of dangerous games here for Penn State. But I want to talk a little bit about that non-conference schedule and the way this team approaches it, and then the importance, once again, of the Oregon game, if nothing else, from a national perception standpoint. But we'll touch on all of that when we return. As we continue, it is our Thursday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Quench your thirst tonight as the State College Spikes continue their homestand with a 6:35 p.m. matchup against the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. It's Thirsty Thursday at the ballpark with the most affordable drafts in Happy Valley, as fans of age can enjoy 12-ounce drafts for just $2 a piece from 5:30 to 7:30. See your first half champion Spikes in action on the road to the MLB Draft League Championship game. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America. 98.7, The Fox, State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And back here on a Thursday afternoon as we hurtle toward the weekend, looking forward to it. And talking about Penn State football as the Nittany Lions get ready for the upcoming season. And I'm seeing more articles and conversations on, this non-conference schedule. And I've seen a couple of jabs at James Franklin. First of all, just so folks are aware, like Virginia Tech was supposed to be part of this non-conference schedule. I'm not sure, at least in some of the stuff I've read, that people are aware of that. This wasn't the long-term plan is, hey, we're going to get 3 cupcakes on here. And Nevada probably is not quite as bad of a program as what many would believe. That being said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a terribly dangerous opening game for the Nittany Lions. But a few things about the schedule as it is. Again, my preference would be that you would always have a Power 4, I guess now, Power 4 program on there. Maybe not necessarily an Alabama or a Texas out of the gate, but yeah, get a middle of the road ACC, SEC team on that schedule. That would be my preference, both from a preparation standpoint and also obviously from a fan interest standpoint. Here's the bottom line, though, Goon. They're going to sell out or come darn close. I mean, the revenue, ticket revenue is not going to be a problem here. And because of the way this team is comprised and the depth that it's trying to build, I just think if you're going to have this type of a schedule, this is not a bad year to have it.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot complain about the schedules because they're made so far in advance. You know what I mean? Like the Virginia Tech thing. I now that you reminded me of that, yes, I remember now that they got rid of that game. And nobody in their mind would be complaining if we're playing Virginia Tech in one of those games. You know, I mean, this is the way of the future. I mean, this is the way it's the the sloppy out-of-conference games and stuff like that, the 3 winners and stuff like that, then your 8 conference games or your 9 conference games. That's the way it is. I get it, but, yeah, you do want to see a Ohio State play at Texas, a Michigan play Texas, a Michigan play Oklahoma this year. Would we like that? Go down to Auburn, go down to Ole Miss type of thing. Yeah, absolutely. But it's something we could do about it. This schedule's been made so far in advance. I think that the 3 non-conference games the next couple of years are already full right now. So that's how far in advance they go. So I don't know if is James Franklin really the one making these games, or is Pat Kraft? I don't know. Maybe people don't want to play Penn State. I don't know. They want a 1-1.
Yeah. Well,
I understand what James is doing with you play Temple, you play Villanova, Delaware, West Virginia, Pitt. You play those 5. Syracuse would be another one of those type, the old rivalry type of games. Go one time every couple of years against them. I mean, the days of us having to go to Pitt are way over, in my opinion. And you well know me that well to understand that they're not due a 1-for-1, in my opinion. But if that's the game that we have to make our schedule look better, then let's go with it.
Yeah. So a couple of things about the way this now plays out. One is it does put added pressure to me on James Franklin to do what Penn State under Franklin has done in recent years, and that is win all of the games it's supposed to. I know he gets a lot of criticism for not winning the big games, but there's a lot of teams that win a big game and then somewhere else along the line they stumble and you're like scratching your head. And by the way, Penn State under Franklin did that. There was a game, seemingly a game a year there for the first 8 or 9 seasons there under Franklin as well for Penn State. But they have been very consistent here over the last couple of years in not stubbing their toe in a game where you wouldn't expect them to. And listen, I think sometimes folks get so focused on, well, he's not winning the big games. So, well, of course, you're winning the games you're supposed to. Well, really, of course, because Alabama hasn't been doing that. Ohio State hasn't been doing that. Texas hasn't been doing that. And you start going down, there are not many teams that actually go out and win all of the games they're expected to win. So I think that is significant. Now, I
think that's going to change now with the way we are set up right now. Why would an Ohio State sign a Texas right now? Why would Michigan play Oklahoma within the next 5 years? You don't want it. I mean,
I think hopefully it'll be mandated. That's my hope.
Well, that's a different story. But why would they? Why would they even try to affect their national ranking if they don't have to?
Yeah, hopefully it's because they're looking at the big picture product, and hey, we can't just have a September where none of the power programs are playing any game of interest.
But they have to be home games, though, right? Because these 3 out-of-conference games, like Pitt is not going to come play us if we don't go to Pitt. And we're not willing to give up a home game, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, you got to have 2 of your 3. It's the timing of it, right? That's why you got to have the every other year thing where you can't afford to have only one of your 3 non-conference games be a home game. And when you have the unbalanced Big Ten schedule, it does make it more challenging in the years where you have 4 home conference games.
I wouldn't play an out-of-conference game unless it's mandated on the road ever again if I was Penn State. You need the money here. Keep the money here. Why give it to Pitt? Why give it to West Virginia? Why give it to Syracuse? Unless it's mandated. I understand that. And that would be great if there was, whoever's going to come in here, the ESPN, the Foxes, the CBS, the NBCs, whoever's coming in to try to run this thing, they should mandate 2 out-of-conference games. And, you can keep your historic rivalry. That's fine. Every other year type of thing. But we don't have that. We're unrivaled. So Would I be interested every 5 years they come out of the conference and say, okay, you're going down to play Central Florida and you're going to go out and play Oregon State. They're the two teams that popped up on your schedule. Pretty cool. I would love for them to do that and start having the weird matchups that are like the non-regular matchups that we would normally like. But yeah, but you're right. You just can't give away September and saying, hey, there's not going to be a good game here this whole month.
Yeah, and again, if it's a one-year aberration, I think fans can be forgiving of that, especially if it's a season where you think your team has a real shot at winning the national championship. And, and listen, if the goal is to win a national title, right, that it's the risk-reward thing. And again, I don't like it. I really do. I wish voters and whatever system they formulate here, I wish it would take into account to a greater degree the strength of schedule. I think that would encourage more teams to play more games of significance out of conference. But when you have the conference rating that the SEC and the Big Ten have, again, there's not a lot of incentive there. And just looking at it with Penn State this year, again, this is such a veteran team, Goon, and having gone through the playoff experience last year that most of these guys have. Now, not the transfers, not the freshmen. I get it. I mean, every year is different. But a lot of the players on this team have played in the big game atmospheres. They know what it's about. I don't know that playing, like, let's just say you put Virginia Tech on that schedule and took off a Villanova or a Florida International. Do I really think that Penn State would be that much more prepared for Oregon? I'm not sure I buy that. With this team this year, again, in general, I maybe would subscribe to that. I don't know that is all that important for this year's Penn State team because of the leadership and just the experiences that they've had in the last couple of years, but last year in particular. So I also think those first three games now, Goon, and I think building that depth and kind of finding out what you have behind the guys that what you have in, like seeing how the backup quarterback situation plays out a little bit through those first three games, seeing what receivers step up and make some plays, and seeing, some of these younger guys that are not expected to be counted on in the Big Ten portion of the schedule, but hey, maybe get a glimpse. Ooh, yep. You know what? We have something here. Down the road, and maybe something that can work into the rotation before this season ends.
Let's not forget we played 16 games last year.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just going to throw Nick Dawkins out there. Nick Dawkins, he's only you've heard me say there's only so much tread on tires, baby.
Yep.
You're going to have a guy like that. Get him the hell out of those games, those first 3 or 4 games. If we're winning, get somebody else in there. Get somebody else some snaps in there. God, we haven't had anybody play center other than him for the last 2 or 3 years. So, yeah, so take a guy like him. You want to save his legs. It is a long season. And we learned that the hard way last year that there was 16 games in that season, man. That is a long time to be playing football, my brother. So, yes, you are right. Let's get these guys. Let's get up early in games. Let's get our younger guys into the games. Let's see what these guys have to offer. Get them some work out there in front of 110,000 people. Yes, don't let their first game be Oregon. When somebody gets hurt, they have to step up and they have to play in front of in the big lights. We don't want that. We want somebody who's been out there. They've played a couple games already. They've had in front of our crowds type of thing, and. Again, this is another thing that, Joe didn't have to worry about when we were playing was keeping these guys fresh for 16, 17 games. That's a long time, man.
Yes. And I do think that that adds a different dynamic for sure to what we're used to seeing in college football. And I think it is also one of the adjustments maybe that in general we need to make in terms of how we view those non-conference games. I think to a large degree they do serve now as basically the preseason for NFL teams, where it's an opportunity to maybe get some guys in there, get them some work, see what you have, solidify some game plans, and do that sort of thing. Now, Penn State in the future, I know Syracuse comes back onto the schedule here in a couple of years. So I don't think anybody's expecting, although, and this is the other thing, you can schedule somebody to your point about you're scheduling them years in advance. With how quickly things can change now in college football, you can schedule a team that you think, hey, man, we're scheduling this for a W. It'll, help us a little bit with the schedule strength, but we know it's going to be a win. Or, man, we schedule this thinking we're going to challenge ourselves and get a good game. And then, either the team that you thought was scheduled as an easy W, hey, this is the one year where it looks like they could really be a force, or the team that you thought you were scheduling to help that strength of schedule is like, nope, they're just in for a really down year. It is difficult to project that stuff, and I think it's difficult to penalize teams if they are scheduling a game with the intention of, hey, we want to schedule a big-time opponent, and then that big-time opponent turns out to be like a Florida State last year. Well, you're scheduling Florida State because you're thinking you're scheduling a real powerhouse, a top 10 type of a program. So, you do what you can. I really do hope in the future, Goon, I'm hoping the powers that be, and really the powers that be right now, it's the Big Ten and the SEC. I really do hope they get together here in the next couple of years and say, listen, first of all, they've got to figure out the conference schedule. And it doesn't matter to me whether they go to 8 or 9 games, but I think I think all of the power conferences need to be playing the same number of conference games and therefore have the same number of non-conference opportunities. But I just think it needs to be, once the season ends, take that next month and allow the schedulers to get together. And again, there's no way you're not going to create the perfect system, but I think, all right, let's look, the teams that finished in the middle of the Big Ten, let's get a game against teams that finished in the middle of the SEC, teams that finished near the top. Let's have them play each other. I think we've talked about this before, similar to the Big Ten basketball challenges with the ACC or the SEC. Do that sort of a thing, and then, but have a scheduler or a scheduling office and do it on an annual basis. So, all right, we kind of know what we're getting. And if you want to leave the schools, hey, you guys can go ahead and schedule 2 games, completely up to you. And, you want to get your revenue. You want to maybe spread like Penn State playing Delaware or playing Temple or even Villanova this year. That's kind of neat, in-state stuff. It's not great as far as the product on the field, and man, this is going to be a great game that fans have to see. But if you're going to Villanova, yeah, it's a pretty cool opportunity to be able to come up to play in Beaver Stadium. That's pretty neat. If you're Delaware and you're trying to get a foothold here in Division I, yeah, this is a pretty cool opportunity. So I think you can allow schools to have, at least a game or 2 where it's like, yep, you guys go ahead and schedule that. But allow some sort of a centralized office to schedule a game or 2.
I'm just thinking about it in my head right now. It's like, you're going to have the Power 4 conferences, but what are the other 3 or 4 conferences going to do? What is the MAC going to do? I mean, the MAC makes a living off of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Do they just go away? You know what I mean? It sucks because it's like those are good programs. It's good football when they get against each other, but they have to go to the Big Ten and get eaten alive, I don't know what conference is in the South that they have. They're the feeder program for the SEC. I mean, would it be great to have all these teams? And I mean, wouldn't it be like monopolize a day, Super Bowl Saturday, have like a conference, have like this, the Big Ten. Okay, we're going to pick out of the hat now. There's 18 Big Ten schools. Okay, you're going to match up against, you have a game against a MAC team, an SEC team, and a Big 12 team, and then you got to go to the next step. Then it says Penn State comes up, 3 teams come up, boom, you got to pay them. I mean, that would be really, really cool, because there'd be some matchups they'd be like, wow, and then but then are we getting to the point where, I mean, let's not get our Jeff. We need those 8 home games as Penn State, right?
Yeah, well, you need the 7.
The 7, excuse me. Yeah. We need those 3. We need 7 to 8 home games a year for us to live. That's just how Penn State survives, in my opinion. I don't think they can. I don't think they can go on the road. Do you? For an away game,
not in the years where they have only have 4 conference home games. Obviously, you can go on the road if you have 5 home conference games, which you do every other year. Then for sure you can go on the road. Those.
So, but are they going to allow Penn State in the odd years to have 3 home games out of conference? You know what I mean? It's like one of those things that's like, damn. Yeah, but because we are a destination, I get it. I mean, on paper, it looks great having some, 3 lesser tier teams having to come up here. But what if they match up with Alabama? They're going to Alabama. Are they going to get a home and home type of thing out of it? If we go down to 8 teams in the Big Ten, then you get 4 out of conference games. You might be able to do that. I don't know. Can they come up to 9? There's just so much crap out there, man. What are you going to be thinking all day here, Ironhead? Jesus.
Yeah, it's a lot that you got to take into consideration when it comes to the scheduling. And again, I think just taking it out of the hands of the schools and trying to balance it a little bit, to me, would make a ton of sense. And I think if once they get the governance figured out, and that may be a little while here, but once they get the governance figured out, I think that's, to me, one of the things that whatever centralized office they come up with, that has to be part of it, is handling the scheduling aspect here for at least the majority of the power conference schools.
It would be pretty cool to have a Super Bowl Saturday where it's just like a 5-hour window of creating next year's football schedule. I think it would be great. Pretty cool way to take over. I mean, maybe even if you take the scheduling out of the schools and into the Big Ten's hands and put it into this deity that we are creating, then they might determine how much a home game is worth or how much an away game is worth. I mean, if say like a West Virginia says, okay, well, we'll play 3 away games. I don't care. You know what I mean? If we get the money. If they can guarantee us $500,000 a game, we'll go on the road type of thing rather than going for $1 million or $100,000 like they do now. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I also wonder if you can start to do more. I mean, we've had some of it, and even Penn State has been a pretty active participant over the years in like those neutral site games. And neutral site I'll use in air quotes because some are more neutral than others. But, I think having an opportunity, and especially with the Penn State alumni base, like when they did the kickoff classic in the Meadowlands, like that makes some sense. And if you can create opportunities where, once every 4 years or something like that, it's, we're going to get a fairly marquee matchup. And when you look from Penn State's perspective, again, you could go to the Philly, New Jersey area. You could go to Washington, D.C. You could go to the, Pittsburgh or even Cleveland area, and you're going to have, a substantial fan base there. And the fans that are local, you're not overly taxing on, hey, if you want to come watch Penn State play, I'm not talking about taking them out to the West Coast for those types of opportunities. Although, again, it may be even once in a blue moon, you do that. You do a game down in the state of Texas or in Florida or out in California for a unique non-conference or out-of-conference experience.
We know a guy in Buffalo who's got a nice new stadium on the way.
Yes, I'd be okay with that. I think that would be a pretty cool opportunity, actually. All right, we'll take a timeout here, and we are coming back with much more. We'll not exactly terribly exciting news that broke yesterday regarding the Pittsburgh Pirates and the future, for those of us hoping that maybe, just maybe, somehow they were building up for a spectacular off-season splash, and they're going to really rev things up and give Paul Skeens a team that'll be fighting for the pennant here in the coming years. The reports yesterday let us know that, nope, it's still the Pirates being the Pirates under Bob Nutting. And we'll talk about that when we come back.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Quench your thirst tonight as the State College Spikes continue their homestand with a 6:35 p.m. matchup against the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. It's Thirsty Thursday at the ballpark with the most affordable drafts in Happy Valley, as fans of age can enjoy 12-ounce drafts for just $2 a piece from 5:30 to 7:30. See your first half champion Spikes in action on the road to the MLB Draft League Championship game. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members. tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors. People invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again,
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
Well, we are continuing here on a Thursday afternoon. I'm rereading the report yesterday on the Pittsburgh Pirates and the plan to not increase the payroll in 2026. And in fact, more likely that they will reduce a payroll that is already among the lowest in Major League Baseball and is producing the results you would expect for a franchise in such a spot. I get the small market woes and the difficulty in baseball, unlike any other major professional sports in the United States in trying to compete as a small market franchise. But that is why you would like to think, hey, we get it. You're not going to be there every year. But when you get an opportunity to get in and be a force, man, you got to take advantage of it. And the Pirates are clearly letting their fans know here, we don't really have any interest whatsoever in taking advantage of this Paul Skeens. And it's not just Skeens. I mean, this is a terrific starting pitching staff. But, I mean, Skeens is the key to the whole thing. And absolutely no interest in doing anything to generate any enthusiasm or anything resembling a contending product around Paul Skeens. And it is frustrating is just not a strong enough term. You just want to throw your hands in the air. And again, fans are literally begging Bob Nutting, if you can't do it or won't do it, and maybe he can't. I mean, maybe it is just, man, we just can't throw that kind of money around. Then you owe it to the fans. Shop the organization around and see if you can find somebody. Again, nobody's suggesting that the Pirates start throwing money around the way the Yankees or the Dodgers do, but maybe throw money around the way the Brewers do. I don't think that's a crazy. Maybe another $20 million for a 3-year run here. Another $20 million a year to upgrade at a couple of spots, get another bat or two into that lineup. I don't think that's an unreasonable thought process here by the fan base, but it clearly, not surprisingly, is not going to happen with Bob Nutting. And some fans are ripping Ben Cherington, and I mean, I don't think he's doing a great job, but it doesn't matter who you have as GM or manager. That's not where the problem is for the Pirates organization.
When does the MLB step in? I mean,
that is a good question.
Did the article mention that at all?
If not now, I think never. And it seems like Major League Baseball has no intention of stepping in.
But how did they make the Tampa Bay Rays? They made them sell the team.
I think they were so low that it got, beyond. I mean, the Pirates, what they can point to right now is
they do just enough.
It's what the White Sox. I think there's. Actually, I think let me bring up the article. I think it's the Marlins, the White Sox. I think the Rays may still be under the Pirates in payroll, and I'm forgetting somebody there.
Rockies.
Oh, the A's. The A's.
What about the Rockies?
No, the Rockies are. That's another whole problem. But in payroll, it's the Marlins are the lowest at 68.9 million. White Sox at 74. The Athletics at 78.2, and then it's the Rays at 82.9, and then the beloved Buccos check in there at about 90,000, 89,975,500. This according to COTS contracts. But again, in their division, they're 20 million behind the Brewers, who again, the Brewers are not throwing all kinds of money around. I get that. That's kind of the point. Is you don't have to be crazy throwing money around, but when you have an opportunity, and the Pirates clearly have a very short window here, but it is a window of opportunity to show absolutely no interest in capitalizing in any way on that opportunity. Is just beyond frustrating, and this is one of those things too, Goon, where if the Pirates do end up leaving Pittsburgh, then from a business standpoint, this was just brilliantly played by the Nuttings, because they are insisting that the fans not have any reason to follow the organization or the team. They are telling you, we are giving you no hope. There is no reason other than coming out and watching this amazing Paul Skeens pitch. There is no reason for you to come to the ballpark, because we will not put out a contending team. Well, if you're looking to move your organization, well, then you can listen. We had Paul Skeens and look at the attendance here over the last couple of years. Well, yeah, because you gave the fans no hope, no indication that you had any thought of putting together a contending team around Paul Skeens.
And let's not kid ourselves, they have one of the best park, if not the best park in the league.
Well, and there's
I love that park.
Yeah,
So, I mean, do you really think that he wants out? He wants to move the team, get a new stadium. What is his
I don't know.
end game?
The whole thing is just his end game is let's keep pocketing money, and it is a revenue producer for him individually, and that's what he's in it for. And
So
I mean, that's fine.
if I recall, he's making about $50 million. I think that's what Cuban said. The Pirates make $50 million a year, and
that sounds about right. Yeah.
And what Cuban said, he goes, "Why would he change it? Why would he do a thing different if he's going to make $50 million? What business do you think in this world, knowing they're going to make $50 million, go out and spend $150, knowing you could lose that?" So I get it, but I also think it's complete bull. It's the MLB's got to step in there. I mean, they're not even going to attempt. I mean, even attempt to upgrade their lineups or improve.
If this story is accurate, yes. If this story is accurate, and I believe it is, then yes, there is no reason. I mean, there really isn't. Other than, again, Paul Skeens is amazing and incredible, and yep, worth the price of admission himself to watch. But I mean, in terms of, hey, I think we could be in the ground floor here of something special. No, they're telling you, nope, we will not let anything special occur here in Pittsburgh, and it is. That's just beyond frustrating. And
well, your boy, the fam guy, who's had 2 run-ins with fans, does not like by fans. I've heard a rumor that he's not a good locker room guy to begin with. You had a chance to get rid of him, get him out of the locker room, and they don't do it. They keep him on the team. They're going to pay him for another year.
It's even more perplexing, because that now you're paying a salary for I mean, even if he was a great locker room guy
Yes.
and the most popular with the fans, it's like, well, it doesn't make any sense to be paying that salary when you could get rid of it. And again, it couldn't be that they didn't get enough in return when you look at the deals that they made. Well, we would have traded Tommy Pham, but we wouldn't have gotten. You're going to get nothing.
You're getting nothing because he's a free agent.
And
McCutcheon is the good locker room guy. They're willing to pay him. I love that. That's the guy who you go out and pay, and he maintains the locker room. He keeps the sanity in the locker room, but you don't need a couple of those guys.
Yeah, Kutch deserves better too. Just heartbreaking stuff. I mean, just absolutely heartbreaking if you're a Pirates fan. It is interesting. Speaking of the Rockies, the Blue Jays, I think it would be fair to say, dominated the Rockies in that series. What was it? Averaged 15 runs a game.
45 runs they scored in that series.
In that 3-game sweep. And listen, the Blue Jays, I know before that series, they had cooled off a bit, but man, they are one of the great stories in Major League Baseball this season. Phillies take 2 of 3 from the Orioles, now up 2.5 games over the New York Mets in that highly watched National League East Division.
Jeff, I do have one question. I want to go back here on a couple paragraphs. You're okay with the Pittsburgh Penguins the way they are because of what? Because they have been competitive in the past? It just seems like they're just going to stay still for 2 years, let those guys fall off the vine.
Yeah, the direction has not been great there for sure. But yeah, at least they've had recent success. I do think, I mean, that does feel like a long-term rebuilding project. And yeah, that's not what you want to see at the end of the careers of Malkin and Crosby for sure. But you got cups with Sidney Crosby with Malkin, and yeah, I mean they're
not going to do anything. They didn't do anything this year. They're not going to do anything next year.
No,
if anything, they're going for McPhee.
Yeah, it could be, and if they can get them, more power to them. So
the Stanley Cups have given them a little bit of leeway over top the Buccos.
Well, for sure,
and I agree with that. I agree with that
for sure over the Pirates because I also think you can make the argument. I mean, the Penguins kind of recognize the position they're in, and again, it's not the way you want to see Sidney Crosby go out, but Crosby had the majority of his years where the Penguins were at least competitive. And again, he got his championships. The Pirates are not going to let Paul Skeens get within sniffing distance of a meaningful baseball game in August during his Pirates career. That's where I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not frustrated with the Penguin situation and with what's happening there, but it is different than the Pirates because we're talking about decades of futility. And now, despite decades of futility, it feels like we are sinking lower and lower. And again, what is especially disappointing about the Pirates situation, again, the Penguin situation, it's not the way I think most fans, any fan would want to see Sidney Crosby finish things out as a non-playoff contender. But in his prime years, he was on some really good teams. And again, he got his championships. What the Pirates are doing is in the formative years here of Paul Skeens' career, they are doing nothing to surround him. I guess I just look at it as a difference between, all right, at least there were opportunities provided there for Sidney Crosby, and they were opportunities that were taken advantage of. Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh, now I get it. He'll have no question, he'll have his opportunities in his career. No doubt about that. He'll be on contending teams.
I would sure like to be watching him in October, November. I don't care if it's in Pittsburgh. I want to see him be out there pitching.
Yeah, hopefully he goes out there and gets a World Series, championship somewhere along the way. But man, for Skeens to go through his career in Pittsburgh, and again, not just not be on a pennant contender, but they're going to be in the basement the entirety of Skeens' career. They're going to be the worst team in a division that's not been great. I think we could fairly say he's going to be on the worst team in that division for the duration of his Pittsburgh career. That is awful, and much worse than the Penguins' situation here with Crosby and Malkin. But I'm not
because it would be like if the Penguins got Crosby and didn't surround him with anything.
And never.
They were just said, okay, we have our star. We're going to throw him out there. He's going to get the crap kicked out of him. He's going to have nobody to pass to, but we're going to be selling games out. That's all they care about.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it would be like, I don't know. If Guy Godowski went out and signed Gavin McKenna, and that was it. Yeah, we're bringing in McKenna, and we have. But I mean, you look up and down. I can't tell you how fired up I am about Penn State hockey this coming season. Fired up about all of it, as we talked about earlier. But man, that hockey team is going to be a very fun watch.
Yeah, Noble's over in Denmark. He's in Copenhagen coaching that European football again this year.
Yeah.
So he's like, first week of September, second, third week of September, he'll be back from that. But he's been texting me like, dude, I cannot tell you how excited I am for this. Like, all of this season, the whole fall sports schedule. The women's soccer, the basketball, or coming into the basketball, but the football, the hockey going in the wintertime, the wrestling, the men's basketball, the women's volleyball. It's going to be a good time up here, is what I said to him. And then we have our friends coming up from Florida. They'll be here this week. They're coming in for the fall. You should see how excited they are. The guys coming in from Fort Myers and bringing all their families, and they move up here for the fall. They're so jacked up. They got hockey tickets. They got wrestling tickets. Everybody's on board, man. It's a good time to be here, buddy.
Well, yeah, and again, they are going to be, at the very least, very competitive in all of the high-profile sports, and and I think again, men's basketball not there yet for sure, but I think they're going to come up a little more quickly than what maybe some are anticipating, and I think they're worth keeping an eye on here in the upcoming season to just kind of start to track the progression of that program. But I think when you look at the investment Penn State is making, I think they're trying to be fair to all of their sports, but I think there is a recognition. I know there is a recognition by Pat Kraft of, all right, these are the sports that generate the most interest and that can generate the best profile, the highest profile for our athletic department. Obviously, it starts with football, and men's basketball is the next most important key component. But I think when you look at in the Penn State community in Pennsylvania in particular, right, it is hockey, it is wrestling, it is women's soccer and women's volleyball, it is the lacrosse programs, it's baseball and softball. Like those are the ones that are going to generate the most interest. And I think track and field is probably one that gets overlooked a bit, sometimes by me included, because while it might not be a high-profile sport in terms of, you're just going to draw tens of thousands of people over to the track to watch these events, if you are getting athletes in your program that are competing in the Olympic Games, Goon, that is a next level. And Penn State has some folks that are going to be very much in contention for representing our country in these next Olympic Games. And so when I say high profile, again, there's different forms of high profile. There's selling out your arena the way hockey and wrestling do. But there's also, hey, if you get the right athlete or two, it can elevate the image of your school, of your athletic department. I think of a Michael Phelps in swimming if you have that type of a talent. So if you can get the right talent in sports that aren't going to generate the type of following that some of the programs we just talked about have, but you get a high-profile, big-time track and field athlete, or even swimmer, golfer, whatever like that can help change the overall image of an athletic department.
We got athletes with Dancing with the Stars last year.
Yeah, very cool.
Or as I told my wife, I said her and her friends was he's adorable. I said he's adorkable is what he is, because he looks dorky, but that was a hell of a job. But there's another guy. He goes out and does very well for Penn State, and again, I mean,
Steven Nedorosik is
did we ever
folk hero?
Did we find out who won AD of the year this past year? Did they announce that? And how in the hell was Pat not?
I don't know. I can look that up. I don't even know when. I
know he was up for it, but we would have heard about it if it had happened already and if he had won. But Pat deserves a lot of damn credit for what's going on here. With, like I said earlier, with all the moving targets that are going on with paying the players, keeping Title IX alive, keeping everybody above water, everybody all rowing the ship in the same direction. I think Pat and his staff have done a hell of a job, a wonderful job, in my opinion, everywhere. With the super huge sports, with your footballs, all the way down to your swimming and diving and wrestling. I'm not wrestling, but swimming, diving, softball teams and stuff like that. They have them all rocking and rolling, man.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Yeah. It is. It's just going to be a fun year to
So what do you think? I know we went through it last week, and then we said, do you think that we have 5? That's a big number.
National championship teams.
That's a big number. We have 5 in the top 5 contending, I would say. Now, to go out and win all 5 would be very damn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about, I think wrestling is an overwhelming favorite.
What?
Hockey is a prohibitive favorite, and then football and women's volleyball are certainly right there.
Wow.
I think women's soccer is going to be,
and they've been there. They've been there. It's not new water.
I think they're going to be right in the mix. I think men's lacrosse will be right in the mix. I think women's lacrosse will be, I think they'll get there in short order. I'm not so sure that this upcoming season is necessarily where they vault into the national title picture. But, I think they're going to be coming quickly. I think women's hockey is I think it would be surprising to see them win a national title this year, but I think they're getting closer. I think they're on the right trajectory to get into that mix and that discussion. But yeah, for this year, I mean, I think wrestling and hockey, you feel really good about their chances. I think you feel pretty good about football and women's volleyball, knowing that they're at least going to be in the mix. Again, it's going to be a game here, a call there, play made or not made. You feel like that's going to determine one way or the other with those programs. But certainly those 4 feel like they have a very, very good chance. And then again, I think women's soccer and men's lacrosse probably are right there where you wouldn't be shocked to see either of those programs get a national title as well. That's going to be fun to see. Well,
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
We'll see how it all shakes out. And listen, men's gymnastics could be will be in the mix. Again, I don't know enough about who all has what coming back, but I mean, they're always. I don't think it would be shocking to see them, although I don't know, necessarily who's favored in the upcoming men's gymnastics season, but they certainly would be in the mix there, you would think, again in the upcoming year. So, and there's probably another program or two that I'm forgetting that could be in the mix in their respective sport as well. Take a break here, and we are back with one final segment. It is our Thursday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Quench your thirst tonight as the State College Spikes continue their homestand with a 6:35 p.m. matchup against the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. It's Thirsty Thursday at the ballpark with the most affordable drafts in Happy Valley, as fans of age can enjoy 12-ounce drafts for just $2 a piece from 5:30 to 7:30. See your first half champion Spikes in action on the road to the MLB Draft League Championship game. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS. Once again,
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And back here once again on a Thursday afternoon as we head into the weekend. The Dear Goon joining us via Zoom. I'm at Quaker Steak and Lube, our home away from home on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Can come on down, enjoy all of the great sports action on the TVs located all throughout the establishment. Enjoy some great food, great beverage, and great service here at Quaker Steak and Lube. A great place to be during football season as well here on the weekends. A lot of fun watching college football or NFL action.
Yeah, and for us good fantasy football players, Jeff, you don't have to listen to this.
I wouldn't know anything about that. Yep.
But yeah, they're taking orders now to have your draft parties there and stuff like that. That'll put you in a room. It's just a good place to have a couple beers, sit down, drink, and do your fantasy football draft live. Or have some people there, meet some guys there. But we do it every year there. It's great. If you need help this year, Jeff, please reach out.
I mean, if I need help.
You need help for sure. Can we jump in and help you out? Can we call the Goon and Ironhead? Can we do this?
I'm happy to pass it off to anybody willing to do it.
I mean, the horse is no longer teaching. Think about that. He is no longer teaching. He's going to be all over the draft wire, the pickups in midweek. Yeah, he's going to be all over it, dude. You better step up. I
don't think that's happening. I hear what you're saying, and I don't think it's happening.
I will step in. We'll help you out, Jeff. We'll call it the Horse and Goon, or the Goon and Ironhead team.
There you go. I'm okay with that. Again, NFL preseason action gets underway tonight for the Eagles as they take on the Bengals. The Steelers are open up against the Jaguars on Saturday. Certainly the Eagles among the expected contenders once again for the Super Bowl, and certainly in the NFC. The Steelers, don't know. They're again, widely varying projections for what the Steelers will do in the upcoming season and what this Aaron Rodgers era, short-lived though it is expected to be, will bring for the Steelers. Saw Cam Hayward is now, I guess, not fully practicing. He's wanting to rework his deal. I will say, while I am very critical of Jerry Jones and the way he is handling the salary disputes in Dallas, I will say the one thing and again, it's the way of the world. It's the way everybody operates. So I understand it as far as it goes, but I do think if you sign a contract, you ought to live up to your end of the contract. And if it's a 4-year deal, then you are there for 4 years and you've agreed to the compensation in that contract. And I understand, again, I get what's happening, why it's happening. You want to have the security for the future and all of that. But there is something that is not right. If in the so-called real world out here, if we sign a 4-year deal and then and we're getting, and again, they're getting a handsome salary. And I get that you start doing the comparison game and wow, that salary was really good when I signed it. But now look at it. Well, yeah, but you still signed it. And again, go ahead and work for a new deal. But the whole holding out and then only agree to a 3-year deal. And I know they can't do. I understand how the structure is set up, but I'm just saying it honor your contract.
I mean, if they went to a court of law, the Cowboys win that 100% of the time.
Yeah,
but we're not in the court of law. We're in a court of public whatever, and everybody's thinking about it because, you got to sign Mike, you got to sign him. Yeah, you do. And again, I said it Tuesday, I don't know what it is with him screwing with his top players, but pay them. It's weird. He'll pay second tier players big money, but then his superstars, it's all, again, he holds out. If there's a holdout, and we're still talking about the Dallas Cowboys every show, is that his in his demented world? Is that what he wants? And that's us talking about, I guess. Him signing Micah and stuff like that. Again, you're not creating goodwill amongst the players, in my opinion. And I don't think he has goodwill amongst the players. He did it to, Ezekiel Elliott. He did it to Dak. He did it to CD. And now he's doing it to – it's like you're sort of driving these guys away, in my opinion. And then when, he had to sign him the last week of camp and be like, we paid him anyway. But, your name just got drugged through the mud for the last month. I don't care good news or bad news. If you any news is good news in his world, but I don't see it. I don't see how that's a good thing.
I don't either. If nothing else, I think it fosters hard feelings within the locker room for the organization, for the ownership group. And that's what even if you're not paying them when they want paid, to me, just stay out of the public discussion about it. If the players are going off, I don't know. I think you're better off just letting them go off and being quiet. And then when you get the deal done, see, we got the deal done, rather than talking about, the injuries and all of this stuff. That's part of the game. And you got into the business as an owner, knowing that all of that is part of the game. It just does seem to me like you're pretty much sabotaging your own organization. And that's what it just does not make any sense to publicly air the issues you have with a given player or a given contract. You're not going to win that PR battle. So just stay away from it is, to me, the easy answer, but not one.
I'm very upset by it. Very, very, very upset by it.
I know that
it's so discouraging to an Eagles fan. It just makes me worry. I hope that everybody's okay in Dallas. I hope and pray. Thoughts and prayers with the Cowboys.
Well, I will say a couple of things I am interested to see this weekend is I was really high on Jackson Dart. I was hoping the Steelers would go get him. And now Will Howard, if you didn't see, Howard is out 3 weeks here. So it's going to be a while till we get a glimpse of him in any kind of game action in a Steelers uniform. And that's disappointing just because you wanted to see if is there, not that there was going to be any kind of definitive declaration coming out of 3 preseason games, but you'd like to see, does that guy look like maybe down the road he could be our franchise quarterback or no? And again, either way, I'm not saying it would have been definitive. It just would have been nice to see him get some action. He obviously presumably would have had quite a bit of action over those 3 games, but apparently broke his hand just on a center quarterback exchange is what it sounds like. So anyways, he's out about 3 weeks. And so, the hope of seeing kind of where he's at right now it goes away. And I don't think we're going to see much, if any, of Aaron Rodgers here on Saturday night for the Steelers. But I do want to see Jackson Dart and kind of what he's looking like with the Giants. And again, I get it. It's preseason. I'm not ready to make any grand declarations. I also want to see Shedeur Sanders here. I guess he's getting the start with the Browns, and I'm curious to see what that looks like. And it's a great opportunity for him, obviously. Whether or not he's able to take advantage of it, I think is going to be interesting, and JJ McCarthy and the Vikings. I mean, there's a lot of preseason storylines, and then as we get into the regular season, Goon, much like college football, just storylines all over the place on different individuals and different teams and how things are going to progress. In the AFC, can the Buffalo Bills get to the Super Bowl here with Josh Allen? Will the Chiefs be back in the Super Bowl? I mean, there's a lot of interesting storylines. Harbaugh and the Chargers, and Broncos coming along.
Is Jaden Daniels at Washington? Is he the real deal? Was that a fluke, or is he? It's interesting because it's his sophomore year, and that to me is a huge year for a quarterback. Huge,
no doubt. He just he feels like a guy that's going to handle it, right? Don't you get that feeling? I think they are going to be right in the mix with the Eagles, and really, I think
Birds got about another 5-year run, buddy. They got about 5 straight years of dominating this league, 5 Super Bowls. Boom.
It could be. The one thing with Daniels is, what happens here with McLaurin, and I think that'll get resolved, but how unhappy is he? What kind of, you don't know some of the dynamics that may or may not come in to play there. I will say, to me, Micah Parsons is going to get his. I don't see at the end of the day any way around that with Dallas. The McLaurin situation is a little more. I'm not. My guess is they'll get something resolved. I'm not as confident on that one as I am like the Micah Parsons situation, though. To me, it wouldn't be just like it would be dropping if the Cowboys actually even entertained offers, let alone actually pulled the trigger on a trade with Parsons. I don't know that it would be quite the same type of shocking, because I'm not sure. I think McLaurin is a very good receiver. I'm not sure he's one of the top 5. I'm not even. I guess he's probably one of the top 10. I got to think that through a little bit, but I'm not sure he's quite where maybe he thinks he is or his agent thinks he is in the overall picture. And I don't know that he's like Micah Parsons. You take him off of that Dallas defense. This season has a much different complexion to it for Dallas. I'm not sure. I mean, McLaurin is a big part of the offense. I get it, but I'm not sure that it drastically, if this just turns into a season long or they do trade him, I don't know that it changes drastically. To me, the outlook for the Commanders and what they can do here.
I mean, the McLaurin thing is an odd thing because they really don't have that many great receivers. I mean, I think that the writing's on the wall for McLaurin, and he's probably sitting there saying, okay, well, everybody's getting paid right now, so he wants to get in on that money, that wide receiver money that's going around right now. Just like Parsons is going to set the NFL contract record for a non-quarterback, in my opinion, that T.J. Watt just signed, right? That's where Mike is. That's where Mike is going to go. But is Micah more important than Terry McLaurin to his defense versus McLaurin's offense? Absolutely. But Jaden Daniels cannot lose McLaurin. He cannot do it. They're not going to be anything without McLaurin because he needs him. I mean, Jaden Daniels needs him out there. And Parsons is, he's a top 10 player in the league. Again, I don't understand why he screws with his top players and he creates that animosity. And then he's going to sign there. He's going to break down and pay him. But why are you going through all this bull crap before signing him, knowing you're going to sign him in the end? I just don't get it. Yeah. I don't understand that way of business. I mean, I talk to Marco all the time about him. I'm like, how is that like normal? It's not a normal thing. And it's a weird situation. And he, the whole situation down there is weird because he is the owner and the GM, all of that stuff. And he's not a young man anymore, man. Did you see his comments yesterday? He was talking about how he bought the team in 1989 or with a napkin, and like, who the hell cares?
Yeah,
like that's a great story, but like that's so far way out here of what's going on in that guy's world right now. But that's where his mind is, and it's a little weird to me.
Yes, I'm with you, and also like now. I mean, with the players, I mean, and he even said that like you need to get it all written down and signed off on. Like that's the way of the world, and I don't know. It just feels like he's desperate for the Cowboys to be relevant, as he recognizes that he. Yeah, I think his idea of relevance and our idea, like the fans' idea of relevance, are two different things, and I don't think he recognizes how harmful, how detrimental the way he runs that organization is to the organization. And, you know, I think what's really strange, Goon, is I think he is a great marketer, right? Generally, like, I mean, like what they do with their marketing for the Cowboys is as good as probably anything out there in sports in terms of promoting the product and getting the word out and the imaging and all of that, except when it comes to handling his players and the disputes they're in. And I don't know. It's like a company that spends all of its money, all of its time on PR and creating hype, and not on, hey, let's go get the best employees and let's figure out how we want to go about our business model. Let's figure out our best formation for the structural formation for our business. It's like, well, you can't just spend all of your time on the PR front. Like, you have to have a foundation there that you can build out from. And it just feels like there's no awareness of that. And I just don't know how you'd be in this game as long as he's been and not be better at that part of it.
I mean, as long as that stadium's full on Sunday and they travel on the road and they do all of this, and the man is making a lot of money. He's in the business to make money. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, I think he really does want to win. I don't think he knows how to put together. I think he really thought Jerry Jones was the reason they were having success in the Jimmy Johnson era.
Totally. He's admitted that.
Clearly, that clearly was not the case. And I just don't think he's ever really figured out how to let the football people. I think he considers himself a football person. And again, he may be more knowledgeable about the game itself and that than the average owner, but he's not as knowledgeable as the average general manager, as the average coach. And I think he cannot help himself in wanting to be involved in the day-to-day stuff and let his thoughts be known on these contract negotiations and all of that. And I think the irony is he wants to win so badly, and he does not recognize that the reason he is not going to win, and I don't think he's going to in the rest of his life. I just is because he won't let the football people, he won't hire the people that he can trust to just go run the thing and bring a championship back.
I think that what happened, I know we got a couple of minutes here, but I'm going to speak from the Eagles' standpoint on this part. Remember they fired everybody and they hired Chip Kelly, and Chip Kelly came in and tried to run everything?
Yeah.
And he was the GM, and he was this, and he's running the cafeteria, and he's kicking players off the team. He was the almighty guy. I think Jeffrey Lurie realized, wow, we can't have this. We have to have football people on the field and football people in offices. There's definitely a distinction, and he needed to be the owner, back away from the team a little bit, stop trying to make business decisions for the team or team decisions. Make the business decisions, fine. You're the owner, it's your money, but the team decisions, leave that up to the football people. And I think once Jeffrey Lurie sat back a little bit, brought Howie Roseman in there, got Chip Kelly out of there, let Howie do his job the way he's done it. Obviously, they've won 2 Super Bowls since that went down. Huge difference of how it was 10, 15 years ago in Philadelphia.
Yes. I think that's a great point. And I think, what's interesting, Goon, is it's one thing to have some oversight and accountability, right? Like that makes sense as an owner. Hey, you need to be accountable if we're making poor draft decisions, if we're not signing the right people, like that's a problem. And you need to make changes either just with the way you're operating or with personnel decisions. But I also think sometimes one of the things I give Philadelphia credit, I mean, Nick Sirianni is definitely a different type of cat. He's a different coach. Well, that isn't necessarily, it's not good or bad. It's just you can have, again, different personalities, different types. There were people when he got into the yelling exchange with the fan. Well, you can't have that as a head coach. James Franklin gets the heat for similar interactions, and I'm not arguing that that's great for the program or whatever, but you can have different personalities. You can have those fiery moments or those exchanges. I think it's trusting. All right, at the end of the day, the Eagles trust that Sirianni is their guy. And I'm sure there were some conversations here. Hey, this is how we got to comport ourselves. This is what we've got to figure out. That's fine. I think at the end of the day, they trust that this guy is doing things his way, and we have faith that his coaching style is translating well in the locker room, and we're going to get to where we need to be. I think of like Guy Gadowski and Cale Sanderson have different personalities. They approach things in some ways very similar, but in some ways very differently. Both are wildly successful, and both are going to remain wildly successful because they're true to who they are. They know their sport. They know what they're doing, and they know their personality. They know and they're genuine. I mean, Guy Gadowski and Cale Sanderson are 2 of the most genuine people you're ever going to meet. So you don't need like this one specific type of GM or coach. You just need people that you know and trust. And I think part of the problem with Jones is I just don't know that he trusts good people enough to do the job and just get out of their way. But anyways, a lot of Jerry Jones talk, more than I was expecting today. That's all right. I like hammering on him.
All good.
And I do like watching the Cowboys continue to suffer. It brings me great joy. Goon, enjoy the weekend. We hope you're back and feeling nifty in the very near future.
We'll see.
Fingers crossed. We will take a prolonged time out, and we will be back and resume the show on Tuesday at 2:00. Until then, be good and be safe.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kia. Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Quench your thirst tonight as the State College Spikes continue their homestand with a 6:35 p.m. matchup against the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. It's Thirsty Thursday at the ballpark with the most affordable drafts in Happy Valley, as fans of age can enjoy 12-ounce drafts for just $2 a piece from 5:30 to 7:30. See your first half champion Spikes in action on the road to the MLB Draft League Championship game. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox.